I've been feeling very disconnected from reading lately, so today I'm hoping to change that. We're outside the library and I'm gonna do something that I usually wouldn't do.
We find ourselves starting from scratch, brick by brick. No path carved out for us now. The brush is thick. All I'm asking now, don't give up on love. Don't give up. Don't give up on love. I know that you're tired, my love, but please don't go. There's valley.
Lately, I've been feeling burnt out on reading. If you're new here, my name is Ashley. I used to be a booktube channel, and I was feeling very creatively stifled from just focusing on book content, so I decided to branch out. But I never healed my relationship with reading. Reading has been a lifelong hobby of mine, and I want to go back to the 10-year-old Ashley that was hiding underneath her blankets at bedtime, squinting and ruining her eyesight because she just couldn't not read the next chapter of the book that she was engrossed in. So my goal is to find 2 5-star books, but the catch is one of the books is from a genre that absolutely terrifies me and or that I don't think that I will like. So as you saw this morning, I did end up going to the library and I ended up picking up a book that I feel like is so out of my comfort zone that it's really going to be questionable if I even enjoy it. And then, of course, I have a bunch of books that are new releases that I just couldn't resist picking up. So, the first book, the book that we have that is so out of my comfort zone and I'm terrified is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. Now, I have tried to read a dark academia book the end of last year, and I don't know if it was just the right book at the wrong time, or I didn't enjoy the dark academia atmosphere, but I thought I would give a dark academia book another try. I am very much a fantasy reader, and I prefer fantasy romance, but I will read really any kind of fantasy there is. But I am very concerned, so I'm very concerned about this. It is a classic in the subgenre that is dark academia. I know it's a murder mystery and it's very pretentious and it makes me very worried. But the hope is that I will find a 5-star from this. I will surprise myself. I dipped a little bit into literary fiction last year when I was just craving some new stuff. So let's see how this one goes, this foray into this. I've heard really mixed things about this. All I know is it's about a group of kids that are going to a college, and it's very pretentious, and it all follows a murder, I think. Other than that, I don't really know. So we'll see how that one goes. And then, just in case I don't end up loving that and I need something that is a pick me up, I do have a book that will hopefully be a 5-star in my preferred genre, and that is Fourth Wing. I got this last week and I've been so excited to pick this up. This has been making its rounds on really every side of booktube, every place on the bookternet, and I'm so stoked to pick it up. I know it's a fantasy romance, there are dragons in it, and I've heard nothing but amazing things. I have heard nothing bad to say about it. I don't know what it's about. There's dragons. Very excited to get into this one, and hopefully this will at least be a 5-star read. So these are the 2 books that I will be reading in this video. I really hope that by the end of this I have a 5-star and I get that giddy feeling back that I had from reading, because I've just been craving it. Reading is such an important part of my life. It's been an important part of my life, my whole life, and I miss it a lot. And I want to repair that relationship. So let's do that. But I thought I could do like a quick little book haul of what I got from the library. I really fully intended to just get Secret History, and then I got other stuff. So first up, we have a comic, and this looks like it's 1 through 4 of the Lady of the Lanterns. What drew me in is the art style. This says, amid the chaos of the monstrous epidemic that has gripped the once great city of Yurnam, new hunters take to the streets to fight against fate. Gretchen and her protege Abraham test their will and their sanity against an invisible foe. Siblings Lucian and Vivian cower in the safety of their home, only to find the beast may lurk within. Deep in the bowels of the healing church, a priest faces a dark truth about his faith, and may have to sacrifice it all to save those who will not repent. Under the light of the pale moon, the Lady of the Lantern sings, stalking her next victim. So then we have a new Brandon Sanderson book that I actually didn't know was coming out at all. It is The Frugal Wizard's Handbook for Surviving Medieval England. It seems like he's leaning into that like cozy mystery fantasy, cozy fantasy thing. Man awakens in a clearing in what appears to be medieval England with no memory of who he is or where he came from. I mean, this sounds like super cozy and fun, and I'm excited to give it a shot. Brandon Sanderson is obviously like a prolific author. Love him very much. Silver Nitrate, honestly, this cover is just giving. But this is by Sylvia Marina Garcia, who wrote Mexican Gothic and like a treasure trove of other books. I loved Mexican Gothic, and she writes so many different genres, so I'm not quite sure what this is based, like what this is, but it says it's a tale of movie magic and supernatural suspense. And then the last book that I got is Yellowface by R.F. Kong. I have read Poppy War. I loved it. I started to read Babel and I set it down. I'm going to give it another chance at some point, but I wanted to check out Yellowface. When I saw it at the library, I was like, this is my perfect chance. Who knows if I'll ever get it again. I know this is very different from her usual stories. I think this is about a girl who steals the stories of a Chinese author, even though she's white. So it's like a comment on the book industry and racism and all that kind of stuff. I heard it's very different, and it's like a comedy, but it's also a thriller. Those are the books that I will be reading coming up. But for now, we're going to focus on The Secret History. Like I said, I'm going to start this. I don't know when I'm going to start it because I have a lot of work to do for my job and for my side business. That's kind of part of the reason that I have not been reading or filming or doing anything is my partner and I started a side business just doing product photography for local business owners, and so I have a lot of work that I need to do for that, which is what I probably will be spending the majority of today doing, but I will let you know when I start Secret History and my feelings on it. We'll do like first impressions and stuff. Why would everybody use this week? Don't we need to ban this week? We need to get public service announcements. The worst possible week we've ever had in the existence of humanity. Why just not? If people in your life can't even think straight, I mean, then no matter what, let's put all our brains together and see what we can do. Because a lot of things, you know, to be real bad. We're at Target. I need to pick up some household goods, but also I have heard that they have their like pumpkin shaped cookies that you just like throw in the oven, and they're like supposed to be pumpkin shaped, but like they're also kind of cursed like 99% of the time. So I'm gonna see if they have them, and then I also have to go and make a return. So we're gonna see if they have the cookies that I'm looking for, and we'll go from there. Hi friends, I have been very in my work today, so I haven't really had much of a chance to read, but I did end up getting 45 pages through The Secret History yesterday, and I'm happy to report that I'm enjoying this, and it's not as pretentious in the writing style as I was anticipating. It is actually quite accessible, so that is a wonderful surprise. So we've opened the story with oh, baby girl. We have opened the story with our main character, Richard, and he has started school. It's his first year at this university. I can't remember what university. Hampton University. He's an English literature student. He comes from a like working class family, and everybody that's at the university with him comes from quite wealthy families. So we're already starting to see a disparity there. He changes to an English major, and when he was in high school, he took Greek classes. So he wants to continue taking Greek for his English literature degree, and not have to go to another language. So he has to interview with the Greek professor, and everybody on the staff and all the students tell him that he is a very particular professor. He only allows like 5 students into his classes at a time. So he becomes kind of obsessed with this professor and these group of 5 other students. The professor accepts him into his courses, but tells him that he has to drop all of his other classes with all of his other professors. He has to change his counselor to him. And so this teacher basically has like full control of his education. And we're really starting to see the difference in mentalities between the groups, between the Greek students, him and the other students, versus like the student body as a whole. They definitely are very elitist, and he like doesn't want to tell them that he comes from a working class family. Like he's going to thrift stores and buying like these really nice clothes so that he can fit in, and he's just sort of getting into the group now. And we know that one of the people in the group has died. We know that in the very beginning, and we know that the Greek students had something to do with it. In the first 45 pages, really, he's just like started getting into the group, and very quickly we are learning about this teacher's like mentality and like what he's teaching the kids. Like he's teaching them to be very like shucking your inhibitions and letting your animalistic side come out, and like doing things that aren't like necessarily intellectual, to like let the energy out. And I'm sure that's going to come into play at some point, but I'm shockingly enjoying this. Like I said, I'm not very far in. I haven't had much time to read because I've been quite busy, but yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. We'll see how that goes. It's like almost, I think it's over 500 pages, so I'm not very deep into the story, but yeah, I mean, like I was considering getting a physical copy for myself. Like that's how much I was enjoying it. The little bit that I was reading. I don't know how much reading I'm going to do today. I do still have quite a bit of work left for my side business. so I might get to it tonight. I mean, I'm enjoying it so far. It's probably going to take me a while. I don't have the time that I used to before we started this side business to just read all the time, which I'm enjoying, but I'm kind of sad. Like, it kind of makes me enjoy reading when I'm doing it, but also I wish that I had more time to do it. So those are my thoughts so far. We'll talk probably a little bit later on. Like, I know I said I was going to do the 25% mark, but I just kind of wanted to give you initial thoughts. So we'll talk maybe at the halfway mark. We'll see. I'll let you know how I'm feeling.
Why not make that what this is? I want to say off the bat two things, because I interpret it first and foremost. I don't believe that Ariana Grande is only merit in talking about her. That's not the right sentence, but I'm building there. I'm building the point that I'm already agree. I don't believe that the only important thing, or the only thing to talk about Ariana Grande is her relationships. That's just what this video is. Drop film is interested. That's what it's testing to me. I love it. It's like an old wench in like 1600s reading something like they got even deal. And it's people talking about stuff. And it's still a conversation because the season's out here where Ariana Grande gets people, or cheats on them, cheats on them, yeah. You know, I don't think cheating is good. This is not about cheating. Cheating is about business. It's about business. It's like say something bad person for doing nothing. That seems weird to me. I also want to say like, I already forced these men. No, I just want to say that I think like there is like culture.
Bunny is actually the worst character of all time, and the main character is obsessed with Henry for some reason. Is this gay? I feel like I remember people saying like it's gay, but it's not like outright gay. But Bunny is pretty. I'm glad he's dead. I'm glad he dies, which is not a spoiler because you find out in the first sentence of the book, like, the snow in the mountains was melting and Bunny had been dead for several weeks before we came to understand the gravity of our situation. So, like, that's not a spoiler. It might even be in the synopsis. But he's, like, sexist, he's homophobic, like, and that's just what I've seen so far. I'm sure he's racist in there somewhere. So, bye, Bunny. And I don't quite get what the obsession with Henry is. Like, Henry is a guy that's part of this group of, like, the Greek kids or whatever, but he's, like, he seems to be, like, the loner. He's really, like, bookish. I don't know if there's, like, a relationship between the main character, I think whose name is Richard, and Henry or not. I guess we'll see. But he, like, every conversation, every observation is about Henry, so... Okay, hopefully you can't hear the illness in my voice because I definitely thought that I was over. I had the flu this past week and I thought I was over it, but I have been proven wrong. So it is Wednesday And I thought today was going to be a day that I did a lot of reading, but I ended up having some other things to do. But I did end up reading, I would say, a good portion of Good History. I got a little less than halfway through, and I have decided to DNF this. The point of this was to like read a new genre. The point of this video was to read a new genre that I wasn't like super familiar with and hopefully get a 5-star. And I just know that this is not going to be a 5-star. So I'm going to set it down. I think the largest issue that I have is while Donna Tartt's writing is gorgeous, very well done, a lot of tell instead of show. And if I'm reading about a murder mystery and a group of people that are like performing these rituals and killing people and stuff, I don't want everything told to me. I want to actually see it happening. And I read some reviews of people that had similar issues to me, and it doesn't seem to get any better, and it sort of like loses the plot later on. So yeah, I think I'm gonna try other Dark Academia books, like If We Were Villains and things like that people really enjoy, and see if I like the genre, because I just think that this is like maybe not for me. I enjoyed the atmosphere. Like I said, the writing was great, and there were characters that I found to be very compelling, whereas the rest of them just felt very bland and flat. But that means that I need to read something else outside of my comfort zone. Like, I could just wrap it up here and go on to Fourth Wing, but I think I want to give something else a shot. So we're gonna read Yellowface. This is, I mentioned in the book haul, a like thriller, and it's a commentary on racism in the publishing industry. And the main character's name is June. She is best friends with this Chinese author who is named Athena, and she's really like made it big, and she is a very well-known published author, and June has not been as successful, and she finds Athena dead, I think, and steals one of her manuscripts and pretends that it's hers. And I've heard mixed things about this again, like I mentioned, because I think that people are just not expecting it. But this has a darkly satirical thriller about greed, truth, identity, and art, and who a story really belongs to. Reading Yellowface was like riding a roller coaster with no safety belt. I screamed the whole way through. So I'm excited to see how this goes. I'm only 6 pages in. But her writing is just very consumable in the Poppy War and in this one. I didn't find it to be bad in Babel, but it just felt different. So we're gonna give this a shot. It's pretty short, so I might just update you when I finish it and tell you like all of my really concise thoughts. Because it's only 320-ish pages. I'm not gonna like go super in depth, because I think I'm gonna do like a whole vlog, like a whole clip when I'm done. But I read 252 pages of Yellowface in one sitting. And like, I get it, like, the girlies were right. This is fantastic. This is so gripping, and I really feel like thrillers are R.F. Kuang's like what she should be doing. Like, this is brilliant and so readable. And I wanted a book that would make me feel like I want to stay up all night and not go to bed, and that is what I got, because I stayed up so late reading this, and I would have finished it in that sitting, but I just had to go to bed. But like, I texted my partner, I'm gonna go to bed soon, and then like 2 hours later he came into the bedroom and I was still awake reading this. Like, I will say the part that I'm at is quite stagnant, so it made it a little bit easier to like set it down, but this is really good. Really, really good. The delusion of the main character is wild, but I'm not gonna get into that. We're gonna talk about the book itself later, but I'm very happy that I picked this up. I'm currently also rereading Gone Girl, so maybe I just need to pick up some thrillers. Like, I've gone on the record saying that I don't really like thrillers all that much, because most of the time they're just very average for me, unless it's like from certain authors that I really trust. But maybe I need to like pick up some thrillers and just like give them another chance, because maybe I'm in a thriller mood right now. But this is very good. happy Friday. Sorry about the angle. I have my small tripod today. So it's Friday. It's my short day at work. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I am stuffed up. I hope you can't hear my space heater in the back. It's delightfully chilly out today, and it's space heater time. I'm wearing this dress that doesn't do the best in the winter, and I also decided to wear flip-flops. So it is 63 out. It hasn't been that cold in a while, so I'm very excited. Also random, but we're wearing claw clips now. How do we feel about claw clips, how they look? I loved claw clips when I was a kid, but as someone who has very thick hair, I've never been able to find a claw clip that I could wear. But now that they're back like in trend, I guess, companies are making them for thick-haired people again. So I'm just laying my talk about Yellowface. So as I mentioned in my last clip, I absolutely freaking adored this. I did end up giving it 4 stars because, like I said, there was a part that was quite stagnant, and the ending was a little bit didn't do much for me. So like, it wasn't my perfect book, but it was very, very strong, very readable. The main character was delusional as fuck, and the commentary was fantastic. I have heard people complain that R.F. Kuang is heavy-handed with her commentary, and I didn't find that to be the case here. So if you felt like she's heavy-handed in her other books, could pick this up and feel a little bit better about her commentary style in this, because yeah, in this it was not that way. It was setting up for a commentary on a lot of things, and it definitely lets you kind of come to your own conclusions. So I really, really, really enjoyed this. It gave me the exact feeling that I was hoping to get out of a book in this video. I stayed up all night. I read it in basically 2 sittings. Like, it's a short book, but I did not want to put it down, and when I wasn't reading it, all I could think about was reading it. So it was very good. And then today we are getting into Fourth Wing. This weekend, I will probably not be super busy. My partner is working tonight. He works the rest of the weekend, but tomorrow I have my boss's wedding in the evening, and then I'm off the rest of the weekend. Like, I'm probably gonna do some stuff for the side business, but I'm not gonna do too terribly much because, like I said, my partner is working. Other than that, I don't have much else to say. I will just say, like, this video has been so good for me. Like, okay, I have to clip these up. Doing this vlog has been so good. Like, I was craving doing a reading vlog, that after I had that bout of depression where I decided that I was going to take a step back, it's going to get very dark, that I needed something. Like, I just needed to follow my gut, and I needed to make a video that whatever my gut was telling me was the right move. Like, I just needed to make it happen, and I was craving a reading vlog, and I'm so happy that I just listened. I've been speaking within the last month within the last year rather, about switching up my content because how stifling making one type of content or niching down is for me creatively. Like, I am so envious, and I love it for people that can do it, and like, they feel so much fulfillment from just doing a certain type of niche, but that is not me. And so I've been so hesitant to really make like book only content, because I felt like I was kind of like, was I really wanting to do that, or was I falling on old habits because it's just easier sometimes when I'm feeling a little bit down to just like go, you know, fall back into the routine that I had for years. And so I was doing video planning with Tamika. Hi Tamika, my bestie. And we were trying a new video planning style, and she was like, okay, we're gonna do this and just do whatever comes to your mind. And so the first thing that came to mind was doing a reading vlog, and I'm just so happy that I'm doing this. I feel like it's a little bit cathartic. My camera is like really struggling. It's a little bit cathartic, and it feels good to, like, I don't know, it just feels good. I'm just happy with everything. And I'm happy that I'm not in that place that I was like a couple weeks ago. We are in my new reading chair, which is where I probably will be filming lots of things because it is so comfy, and I'm really excited about it. I can't use my mic, so if you hear fan noises and stuff in the background, I really apologize. But I'm about to do my hair care stuff, and I thought we could talk while I do that. I only recently started getting into hair care because my hair is very long, and if I want to keep it long, I need to start taking care of it. I saw a video of a girl with curly hair like mine, but she just said like what it was, and then I looked up some articles of some recommended stuff, and I got stuff that I was comfortable with price wise. So first, I'm waiting for my moisturizer, like my leave-in conditioner, to come in. It's supposed to come in today, but I did not want to wait to wash my hair. So first we're gonna brush it, and I cut my own bangs, so I don't quite know how this is going to go with my bangs. I ended up starting Fourth Wing. Yeah, I started like a couple days ago, the same day that I finished Yellowface, and I just didn't, like, I haven't updated you guys because I haven't really been reading a ton of it. I'm maybe like 50-ish pages in, and I am enjoying it. There hasn't really been, hold on, I need some coffee, courtesy of my mom, from this delightful cauldron cup. There hasn't really been a whole lot of romance between who I'm pretty sure is going to be the final love interest. Really just sort of introduced to him as the enemy. I know this is an enemies to lovers, so that's how I say I know who it is. So first I'm gonna go in with this Curl La La Curl Defining Custard. It's not my favorite smell. So we've kind of just been introduced to the main character. She is like a bookish main character in this world. It sort of reminds me of Divergent a little bit. You get separated into factions, I think when you like fully become an adult. I don't know quite what age. She wanted to be a scribe, which is like record keeping and history stuff, and that's what her dad was, and she wanted to do that, but her mom is like the commander of the army or something like that. There's only like 2 people above her, and her mom and her sister were both riders, which are like dragon riders, an elite part of the army, and they get bonded with dragons, and they have like magical abilities. Her mom volunteers her for the dragon riders, and then next I'm using the All About the Curls high definition gel crunchless. I'm very concerned about the crunchiness of my hair. Wow, this is like actually very, this is gonna sound dumb, but this is like very jelly. I don't know if I like this. Her mom wants to show their family as like the strongest family of all time or whatever. And so in the beginning, she has to participate in these like trials to become a dragon rider, and she ends up getting put in this squad with this guy who was like a childhood best friend, and he's like trying to convince her not to become, like, not join this squad, not be a dragon rider. The editing on this clip is gonna be a bitch. And they have sort of like a flirty connection, and so I believe this is gonna be like a love triangle situation with her and him and this other guy named Zayden, and that's like the enemies part of it. His parents rebelled against their current like government, and her mother famously killed rebels, and the rebels' children get conscripted into the dragon riders or whatever. So he got conscripted because his family was rebels, and her mother killed his father, and his father killed her brother. So they kind of just have like this family rivalry. She doesn't really hate him, but her family hates him and he hates her. So I know that's the other half of the love triangle, and he is like a wing leader. So like the squad of dragon riders is broken up into wings, and you get put in the wings if you pass the first trials or whatever. And so far, like, I'm enjoying it. It's fun. It's pretty quick. Like, she's already been through her first trial. I'm digging the romantic chemistry between her and the childhood friend, and we haven't really seen too much of Xaden. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. Getting some bullying because her mother is the commander of the army, so like they're trying to like put her in her place, and she's trying not to like show any weakness. So I'm enjoying it so far. Like I said, I'm not very far in, and it's just like a fun time. And I'm already seeing chemistry between her and the childhood friend, so I'm excited for how the romance is gonna go, because it's pretty well done so far. Like, we haven't had any actual romantic scenes between them, but you can feel the tension between them. So that's the update. My camera is about to die, so I'm gonna go and figure out what I'm doing for the rest of the day. I was gonna do some like side business stuff, but I think I'm just gonna chill. So we'll talk later when I have read more of Fourth Wing. Okay, friends, let's finally wrap this thing up, because I have finished Fourth Wing. I know I didn't give much of an update about what this is about. I know I like rambled on in one clip, but then I didn't really go into much. Basically, the majority of the story is her at this academy training to be a dragon rider, and she has a romance with an enemies to lovers situation person that has a grudge against her family, and she ends up bonding with a dragon, and she does her thing. And it's very, very good fantasy-wise. Like, I was gripped. I will say plot-wise, it's not very high action. There's not a ton going on, but it is incredibly interesting. This world is very interesting. Even though the spoiler at the end was partially, like, very fantasy, romance fantasy, I enjoyed the kind of different take on it. The thing that kept this from being a 5-star is the romance. I didn't find the romance to be very strong. A lot of the friends part, like the enemies to friends to lovers part, was not really shown to us. And there was large month gaps where we're just supposed to assume that they were friends, and then they built their relationship, their friendship, but we didn't really see it. And by the time we got into the romantic part of the book, it was all like them banging. So the romantic relationship was not the strongest, but the fantasy elements were very strong. So I did really, really enjoy this. I will say between this and Yellowface, they're about equal to me. Yellowface, like I said, was very readable. This one was also very readable, very interesting. I'm very excited to continue, and I will definitely be reading more from R.F. Kong, like if she does thrillers and stuff like that going forward. But I would say that this vlog was pretty successful. Like I said, my intention was to just fall in love with reading and find a book that made me want to stay up all night and read, and I did, and I was successful. And even though I didn't have any 5-star reads, like, it definitely made me excited to read. This did take me a little bit longer than I was anticipating, but that was just because, like, in that particular moment, I didn't want to read. But when I was actually reading, like, I was having a really good time. So I have a plethora of library books, because I've checked out even more since that original book haul at the start of the video, and I'm so excited to get into them. I'm in such a thriller mood, and I just want to read. Like, that's what I want to do. I don't have enough hours in the day, because I just want to read nonstop. So I will say this was a very successful video, and I'm excited to get back into reading and feel that love that I had for it before. So let's talk down in the comments about what you have read recently. If you have read either of these, I would love to know. I know everybody's read Fourth Wing. I'm very late to the party, but I really enjoyed it. If you like fantasy romance, I would recommend it for you. And Yellowface, of course, was fantastic if you are in like the literary suspense thriller kind of mood. So let's talk about it. If you don't have anything to say, you can leave a book stack emoji down in the comments. You can check out my Instagram and my Goodreads. I'm pretty active on both of those things. Please consider subscribing if you like content like this, and I will catch you guys in my next one. Thanks so much for watching.